thought we were really good in the first half. I didn't think we necessarily closed it perfectly, but I thought we were really good in a lot of different ways. And then I thought in the second half we were average at best. And then, I know the last 6 or 8 minutes I was mixing and matching guys, but even prior to that, the first 12 or 14 minutes, we weren't very good. Credit Coach Wardle and his staff and his players. They did a great job, had great energy in the second half, executed their stuff. We've got to get to the point where we can play more consecutive minutes with an identity of us. And I think we have accelerated, maybe more so than the previous 2 teams, at our guys understanding what us is. But when we're not us, we may be worse than what the previous 2 teams have been. But I was encouraged by a lot of things, and there's definitely still some things that we've got to get better at.
Did you notice any difference in DJ from starting as opposed to?
No, I think he's been much better in practice, much more engaged in the film room. DJ's a really good kid. I hope both of my boys grow up to be like him. But he's an emotional person just like I am. And when his emotion is going in the right direction, he's really talented because he understands how to play, and he has a talent that a lot of kids don't have relative to what God gave him. But I thought he was much better than he has been.
3 games in 6 days, for this young group to not take a step back and to come out with such a well-balanced attack, what does that mean for them as a whole?
I think we're going in the right direction, Brad. I thought we had a top 4 practice yesterday, the first 90 minutes, and the last 30 minutes we had a bottom 4 practice. And I thought tonight we were very similar. I thought arguably we were as good as we've been in the first half, and arguably as bad as we've been in the second half. Not just all on us, that's a credit to them, as I said earlier. But I'm encouraged, and I think, as I told our guys on Monday, we've just got to continue to tighten things up because we'll do 3 or 4 things right defensively and then have a breakdown. We'll do 3 or 4 things right offensively and then have a breakdown. And we just got to continue to be able to concentrate for longer periods of time. And that's hard with a young team because they're like, Buzz, we practiced for 90 minutes and we were hooked up. And I'm like, I know, but we need to go a little bit more. And so we just got to keep pushing, and that's what I told them after the game. We need to be 2 minutes better relative to our mental toughness tomorrow. 2 minutes better on Friday. And I think we will. I think we're ahead of where I thought we would be in a lot of different ways. And we're probably where we should be in the other ways. And I need to be patient, but at the same time I need to continue to push them to grow better.
I know that.
Where's Todd at?
He's in the back writing.
Boy, that's why it's flowing so well. Why are you back there, Todd? Because it's late and you got to turn in your deal.
If you would have gotten in here sooner, I could finish like that.
We had some other stuff going, Todd. I'm not being a smart aleck. We had some real life stuff going on in the locker room, not specific to our players.
Again, I know you talk.
Take your time, CJ. Todd's not here.
Yeah, exactly. I know you talk about how it matters only how people finish games, but you look at Jay's production, and is he making a push towards starting and finishing? You know?
Well,
or is he better coming off the bench?
I don't know. Jay has earned the right to start. With then having said that, Jay and I have a great relationship. Jay is a 38-year-old relative to his instincts, and he's a 38-year-old relative to how he processes things. I'm never going to hold that against him. But at the same time, he's going to end up, in my opinion, and I've said this before, he'll end up being the heart and soul of what we're about because he has such a great feel for what we're doing. And he's 3 games into his career as a junior college guy, and I am attracted to junior college kids. He and I are on the same wavelength a lot of times, and as soon as he gets off of it, I act like a complete clown towards him. And when I get off, he has a complete quick feel for I'm off. He's hollering at me while he's playing in the second half, and I'm hollering at him. And I told him at the next media timeout, you're right, but I'm mad at all of you. So I holler at you. I love him. I think he's really good. finisher minutes, I think.
From a points per minute standpoint, Gardner seems to always be coming through in the stretch. Mainly that's when he's getting most of his minutes, but is that kind of like an insurance for you? You know he's going to produce in that role?
Well, I do think that it has turned out that way, and he is, I would say, probably maybe averaging more than a point a minute. You know, I put him in earlier tonight than I ever have, and he has 2 fouls in 3 minutes at halftime, and which, not because I'm smarter than everybody, but it's what I tell him all the time. Can you be an asset offensively? Well, you've answered that question, but are you going to be a liability defensively? This is, we will always want to, one of our whiteboard stats, we always want to make more than the opponent attempts. So tonight, more so than any other night, they attempted 26 free throws. That's way too many. We had 5 guys that had 2 fouls in the first half. Reggie had 2 fouls in 3 minutes. Devontae had 2 fouls in 3 minutes. We're stopping the clock. We're putting them at the free throw line. It's no good. I put Devontae in earlier because he's deserved that. But he can't foul. He can't foul. And some of these games, there's not a guy on their team that looks like Devontae. And I understand that those guys are harder to guard when you look like Devontae. But he's got to be able to guard those guys so we can take advantage of what he looks like on the other end.
Coach, this was mentioned before. You guys dominated points in the paint by 30. I saw you guys throwing the ball a lot in, especially when Devontae was in the game, even with Jay and Chris at times. Is this becoming more of a point of emphasis for you guys?
Well, our paint touches have always been maybe the most important thing that we talk about. 47 is our goal. I may have to change that. I'd studied it all summer long. We had 61 tonight, 31, that's unofficially, 31 of 35 in the second half. To your point, we haven't had a guy, other than Czar on occasion, but we haven't had a guy that you wanted to throw the ball to in the paint. So all of our paint touches in the past were accrued off the bounce. And so within the identity of us, our paint touches are still at a premium, but it doesn't have to always be off the bounce. Junior Cadogan is the best at throwing the ball inside. He scored 6 of Devontae's 11 points. Just here, catch it and shoot it. Dwight Bikes is probably our second best post feeder. Jay and Joe are our third and fourth because they're not scared to throw the ball high-low. I like that. I think that as we progress, that's going to be really good. It is a point of emphasis. Are we to the point that we understand when to drag it below the free throw line and keep our dribble alive to throw it inside, and if it's not outside, shorten the distance of the pass to reverse the ball side, top side? We're not comfortable with that. We're working on it every day in practice. We're breaking it down like camp, but we're better. We just got to keep working at it.
Coach, you addressed the identity of this team earlier. I think maybe a few weeks ago, maybe a month or so ago, you weren't sure what the identity was. Do you have a better handle?
Yeah, I think so. I think we all have a much better feel for what us is, and I hope that it continues to evolve. And I told our team after the game, what I like the most about what they realize within our identity is they have the same thoughts about our identity as I do, which means they're trying to do right. We don't have 3 or 4 guys over there going, now, we're not supposed to do that. And 9 guys over here going, yeah, we are supposed to do that. I think we're all going in the right direction. We got a long way before we reach the peak of what we want to be, but I think 3 games in, I think we're progressing in the right fashion.
Did you want to tell us what that identity was?
Oh, Todd's got to turn in his report, but I mean, a lot of things, all the things that I always talk about. Field goal percentage defense, obviously, rebounding, differential, transition defense points allowed, turnovers forced, turnovers, free throw makes, opponents' free throw attempts, paint touches, all of those things that if you read or listen to what I say, it's the ones that I say the most are the ones that we concentrate on. But I think that it's growing, and I think that we're getting better, and I think that more so than in the past, because of our depth, I think we can extend the floor. I think we can extend the floor offensively and defensively. but you have to have a lot of trust in who you're playing to be able to extend the game. And you're going to have more, as they're growing, you're going to have more transactions that are not necessarily beneficial because you're extending the floor. And I've got to be willing to handle that some.
Guess I was expecting an adjective.
Every day tough.